My videos are all about my creation process and showing you how I create what I create and kind of the steps that I take to get there. And that is through like a choreographed kind of lens. So what I have for you today is a very raw, unchoreographed behind the scenes footage of me creating a collection basically from start to finish, but like through the lens of me conversing with another artist. She's somebody that we're creative people that we hold creative space for, and she's somebody that I talk to almost on a daily basis. And you should check her out. Her name is Colleen Kennedy. She creates funny women greeting cards, and you can find her at Vanity Cases. But this is correspondence that I have back and forth to Colleen on this collection, basically, like I said, from start to finish. So this footage was never meant to be seen by anybody, but I specifically did not take the time to create any content while creating this whole collection. And for one thing, the one thing that I discovered, which makes complete and total sense, is I was able to do the collection in about half the time that it takes to do a collection and film content. So that gives a really good, look into what it's like to be creating content and creating artwork, how that affects what you're doing. So it does create or take creative energy away when you are filming content. At least for me, it takes time away. It's a lot of extra effort to try to capture something in its rawest form without changing the way you do anything. You still have to, because it separates your brain in half into the way you would do tasks. So it's a look at that without any of that going on. And it's also, since this is behind the scenes, I'm showing you a little bit more of how I keep the creative juices flowing, and I'm constantly stimulated, and I never run out of ideas. I don't come across, types of artist blocks that I had experienced in the past, but I greatly have changed my lifestyle since the past. And I call it drawing from source, from divine inspiration. I never run out of ideas, but I also remember to always play. And I have a ton of these masks. I have a lot of special interests, what people might call toys. But this is what helps me maintain that creative flow, the creative juices going, because maintaining play while you're an adult is just as important as, sticking to your discipline schedules and things like that. It is essential to maintain that sense of curiosity and imagination. And so I'm going to inject more of that into my videos, because I do sit around wearing masks and playing bongo drums and singing bowls and things like that. So I'm going to show you more of what I do to always keep fresh ideas coming in so that I can move on to the next collection and, not be stuck. So let's get to what I shared with Colleen. Okay, so here is Harbor Slam Poetry, and I'll try to guide your eyes so you know that what grouping of things go with what, because a whole lot of different elements are all together that don't necessarily, make up the picture. So, okay. First, disregard the seaweed. This is just supporting elements, background elements if I need them for anywhere, and that one isn't quite finished. But so first we have the lobster, this design here, and he's holding a fish knife. And the way I will put it together is that knife will slide in up to this shrimp fork that this blue crab is holding. So they're essentially sword fighting. So that will be one, it's the hero image, but obviously, as you can see, you can pull them apart and use them individually. And then what I have here, an accent piece, which is passion fruit. So this can stand alone, put on pillows, what have you, center of a plate. And then, like I said, the seaweed can just be background elements, maybe used in repeat pattern or something like that. I'm not even 100% sure if I'm going to use them. And then over here, the passion fruit stacked as like
kind of a trifecta, just a supporting element. So that's pretty much how I picture them. And then I'm going to do like a sailor blue chevron pattern here. I didn't want to line it in black. And then supporting elements, I really like this scaled back, stripped down compass design that I'm going to do a half drop repeat. And I figured I'd do a secondary one in case I wanted something more ornamental. I still really like this one, but it doesn't mean that I won't use this one for something. And then over here we have the triple fish just with their heads cut off, and this is how they're going to be set up, stacked like this, although I'm going to pull this one apart a little, so pull it up so you got the fat one, the medium one, and the long skinny one. It makes a really nice visual aesthetic. And then supporting piece, another accent piece, the trident with the seaweed wrapped around it. And then this guy here, this blue crab, I'm going to do, I believe, a half drop repeat pattern with him. And maybe that's where I will incorporate in like this very ornamental compass, and maybe include like the seaweed, like faint, like reduce the opacity way down. So that's what I have going on. That's the mini collection here. And like I said, I'm moving along really quickly because I haven't spent any time filming any of the process, trying to set up to have a good shot. So I'm just going to keep going, and this is probably one that I'm not going to record because I really love the momentum that I have behind me. But let me show you what I have. So this guy is completely finished, I think, for the most part. He's pretty much done. A little bit of dimension with the compass. This one's done, and then this will be cleaned up a little bit in Photoshop. Now these passion fruit, I still have to do the final layer of this magenta skin, so these aren't done, but the other elements on it, the leaves and the seeds and stuff, they're basically done. And then come up to here, still have to do the skin of the passion fruits again. And I need to hit the seaweed a little with a little bit of colored pencil, but I have not done anything to the lobster yet with the colored pencil, so he still has quite a bit of work that I will do tomorrow. And then coming over to the fish, I have not done their skins with colored pencil yet, so they'll have more dimension and shape and depth and a bit more color to them. This little guy here, he's all done. He's ready to go. There's not a whole lot I need to do with it, but I still didn't really touch it with colored pencil yet either. So that will happen, but it's a lot less work that I have to do with this one. And that will basically be a wrap. I just finished up with the final coloring, and so now I'm ready to scan everybody in. So I just finished up with coloring, and I immediately got the artwork scanned in and under plastic so that I don't mess it up by touching it, because that happens very easily. And everything's so beautiful, like the textures, colors, try to get some of the details that I just love. It's the fine details that really make it. And the headless fish are so fun anyway. That little guy, he's going to be a repeat pattern, a half drop repeat. That trident is just too cool. This guy is really super cool. I just love him. He's adorable in his own fierce little way. And these passion fruits, like, they're just delicious looking. Do they look cool? Such an interesting fruit. And some lovely sailor blue chevron. Really love how the different compasses turned out. Here's a stripped down simplified one, and then a more ornate one. And then these passion fruit, super cool again. I just finished up with the last pattern for the coastal collection. It is super fun and charming, very folk charm style, and so I was able to create quite a few different patterns from this so easily and effortlessly. Not necessarily effortlessly, it's just the ideas came so easily from my main guys here, giving me the inspiration for it all. And like I said, I just really love the patterns that were created from this. Definitely versatile in use. And then these guys, they had to have their own spotlight, so I did the formatting individually on charger plates so they could shine all on their own.
And then something like this guy here easily could be a placemat. That is so fun. Wall art, of course, wall art, a chopping board, something like that. Definitely seeing these guys as wall art because why not? That is like kind of hysterical in a really expressive way. And then the edible seaweed with the trident, just such a fun and interesting accent piece. And then the passion fruits all by themselves, perfect for wall art. Like easily could stand alone without a doubt. But again, like these patterns, I'm so just tickled pink by these patterns. They're so fun to look at. Even without the collection. Like they created a really great selection. So that's a wrap. I am quite pleased.